Okay, so this really short, kind of cryptic trailer just dropped for a project called MRN v0.1. It was fast, it was packed with some huge ideas, and honestly, it left a lot of us with more questions than answers. So what we're going to do is break it down piece by piece and figure out what's going on.
Right out of the gate, they hit you with this. What if a county had a brain? It's a huge metaphorical question, right? This isn't about politics or infrastructure in the way we normally think about it. No, it's asking you to imagine an entire community as one single thinking organism, like a collective intelligence.
Okay, so what would a brain like that even do? Well, the trailer lays out these 4 core functions, and you can see right here it's not about some abstract computer thing. It's all about connecting people. It would be there to provide peer support, handle routing during a crisis so people get help fast, hold all that community knowledge in one place, and, weave it all together so it functions as one living system.
And right when you're trying to wrap your head around that massive idea, the whole thing pivots. It suddenly gets personal. This is where it gets really interesting, because it's not just some cool thought experiment anymore. It's a direct challenge to you. It asks, what if you could be one of the people to actually build this thing?
All right, so to really get what this project is, they first have to tell us what it isn't. And honestly, that's a pretty smart way to frame it, right? It's a signal that we're about to head into some new, totally uncharted territory.
And this slide, this is where they really draw a line in the sand. On one side, you've got stuff we all know, an app, a startup. Easy to understand. But then, look at the other side. They're calling it the frontier. Wow, they're basically saying this isn't just another product you download. This is unexplored territory, and we're here to map it out. That's a really bold claim to make.
Okay, so now that they've set up this huge vision, this idea of a new frontier, they finally give it a name. This is our formal introduction to the project at the very heart of this trailer, MRN v0.1.
So what is MRN v0.1, really? Well, according to the trailer, it's not a company. It's more like a meeting point. A place where you get this really specific mix of people together. You've got the engineers who build it, the peers who bring that real-world on-the-ground experience, and the creators who kind of steer the vision. And their goal isn't profit. It's just to design and build.
So why bring all these people together? What's the goal? Well, this is it. This is the whole point. Their one single mission is to design the index. And this is the first time we're hearing this term, right? It immediately sounds like the technical core, like the guts of that county brain idea they started with.
Okay, the index. That's the core. But what is it, like, technically speaking? What's under the hood? Well, the next part of the trailer gives us the blueprint, breaking it all down into 3 main parts. And here we go. This is the architecture. First up, a federated knowledge graph. So think of it like a web of knowledge that isn't owned by one single company. It's shared. Then you've got the routing engine. That's the part that actually uses all that knowledge to point people in the right direction. And finally, the protocols of the future. That's a bold statement, right? They're not just using old rules. They're trying to write a whole new playbook for how these community systems can work. So we've got the what, the index and its 3 pillars. Now the trailer pivots again and gets into the who. Who exactly are they talking to here? Who is this invitation for?
And they are super specific about this. This is not for everybody. They're calling out very specific tribes in the tech world. You've got your devs, obviously, your graph nerds, the people who just live for this stuff, AI tinkerers, the experimenters on the bleeding edge, and then, they even throw programmers in there, which is a pretty funny, self-aware move. They're clearly looking for people who just love to build and break things.
And then they just put it out there, plain and simple. There's no ambiguity. They're basically looking right through the screen at those people, at those specific groups, and saying, yeah, you. This is your invitation.
And that invitation boils down to a super clear 2-step call to action. Step 1 is all about the community, about getting the right people in the room, join the network.
And step 2? That's the mission we just learned about. It's the whole reason for the network in the first place. Build the index. Simple, direct, gets right to the point.
And then it all comes together with this one final statement. This is them officially opening the doors. You've been invited, you know the mission, and now, welcome to MRN 0.1.
And that's where they leave us. Think about it. We started with this huge, almost sci-fi idea, and now we've landed on a very real call to action for a very specific group of people. And the trailer ends by bringing us right back to the beginning, back to that first big question. But now it feels totally different. What could a community really build with a brain of its own?
And that, right there, is the challenge and the promise, I guess, of MRN v0.1.